Welcome back to Drama with Ted and Tina, where financial horror stories aren't just cautionary tales, they're family affairs. Today's disaster comes from a woman who thought Klarna was a personality type, and buy now, pay later meant live now, think never. This isn't just retail therapy gone wrong, it's a full-blown fiscal train wreck involving Bluetooth bidets, LED dog beds, stolen petty cash, and a courtroom laugh track. But don't worry, she's alive, she's just in prison, and the narrator, her sister, me. Buckle up. This one ends with a foreclosure, a jail sentence, and the world's dumbest embezzlement scheme, all powered by 4 easy payments and zero critical thinking. Let me tell you a little story about my sister Marissa, the woman who could had it all. And by had it all, I mean a functioning marriage, a roof over her head, and children who didn't pretend they were orphans in public. But she traded all that in for the sweet, seductive thrill of buy now, pay later. And now she's 3 years into a prison sentence with a bunkmate who thinks deodorant is a social construct. If this were a Lifetime movie, it'd be called Klarna'd Consequences. Marissa used to be normal. Well, suburban normal, 2 kids, mediocre husband named Troy, golden retriever with a gluten allergy, PTA meetings that made her want to fake her own death. But one day, while online shopping for back-to-school sneakers, she discovered Klarna. 4 easy payments, no interest, no soul required. She was in. That first hit of deferred financial responsibility hit harder than anything she'd ever felt. It was like cocaine for moms who watch Real Housewives and think debt is a personality. It started small. Groceries here, a new blender there. Then came the big screen TV she surprised Troy with because nothing says I respect our joint finances like a 75-inch LED you can't afford and don't need. She Klarna'd a Bluetooth karaoke machine, concert tickets to see Beyonce, and custom LED rims for a car that was one missed payment away from being repossessed. I swear to God, she Klarna'd so much stuff. Our delivery guy sent her a Valentine's Day card. By the time Marissa realized her Klarna habit had mutated into full-blown economic delusion, she had over 24 active payment plans and a spreadsheet she guarded like it was the nuclear codes. Her fridge had 4 different kinds of oat milk. Her car had undercarriage lights that pulsed to the beat of whatever playlist she'd Klarna'd from Spotify Premium. Her kids had iPads, not because they needed them for school, but because she didn't want to feel like the poor mom at pickup. But the real kicker? She started Klarna'ing groceries. Groceries, she was deferring frozen pizza. Imagine making installment payments on a DiGiorno. Troy, bless his tragically average heart, tried to have a serious conversation with her about the money. She shut that down fast, accusing him of not supporting her lifestyle, evolution, like she was a Pokemon and not just a woman who thought Afterpay was an investment strategy. He eventually stopped trying. That's what Klarna did to their marriage. It turned mutual silence into a financial survival tactic. Meanwhile, Marissa kept spending like she was single and sponsored, convinced she'd just pay it all off once things stabilized. Spoiler, they did not stabilize. Klarna doesn't wait for spiritual alignment. Klarna waits 14 days before charging your account and ruining your Tuesday morning. Marissa became a local legend among delivery drivers. UPS, FedEx, Amazon, all of them knew her by name, gate code, and snack preference. She even started tipping in leftover gift cards because her debit card was more bruised than her ego. I remember visiting once and seeing a tower of unopened boxes in her living room. She laughed and said, "It's like Christmas every day." I looked her in the eye and asked, "You know you have to pay for Christmas eventually, right?" She told me not to worry, she had a plan, which in Marissa speak meant she was waiting on Klarna to bless her with another round of financial fantasy. She didn't even see it as debt. She called it managed micro investments in joy. That's not a coping strategy. That's how a toddler justifies eating glue. And let me tell you, nothing screams financial stability like splitting a $16.00 candle into 4 easy payments. Marissa's obsession ballooned until she had to set phone alarms just to keep track of due dates. One for her Klarna groceries, another for the Bluetooth showerhead, another for the LED-lit dog bed muffin never used. When the payments started to overlap, she opened more buy now, pay later accounts, Afterpay, Affirm, PayPal credit. It was like watching a woman cheat on her financial abuser with other financial abusers. Each app offered her a slightly different shade of denial. She called it playing the game. I called it waging war against common sense with a Sephora cart. Eventually, the dam broke. Her checking account started overdrafting itself into oblivion. She couldn't pay the light bill because 6 different apps were automatically draining her funds every payday like vampire leeches with login credentials. Troy had officially tapped out emotionally. He was sleeping on the couch, working extra hours, and pretending he didn't see the $84.00 charge for gourmet dog treats or the Klarna confirmation emails titled, Yaz, you deserve this. Her kids stopped asking for new toys because they figured out the plastic ones from Target meant another loud fight between mommy and daddy later. She was drowning in debt, but instead of grabbing a life raft, she ordered a monogrammed pool float and split it into 4 payments. Every attempt to budget spiraled into another excuse to spend more because she was always just one good paycheck away from catching up. But Klarna doesn't care about optimism. Klarna wants blood. Then came the day the lights went out. Literally. Troy had warned her, the utility company had warned her, even I had warned her, but apparently Marissa thought the power bill could be Klarna'd too. Spoiler, it cannot. I found out when she called me in tears from the dark, standing in her designer robe and knockoff Uggs, trying to charge her phone in her car like she was camping in her own driveway. It's just temporary, she sniffled. We're waiting on a refund from Macy's. Girl, your kids are brushing their teeth with bottled water, and you're telling me about a $39.00 return on a handbag you Klarna'd 6 months ago? The only refund coming your way is reality slapping the cents back into you. She hung up when I suggested selling the LED rims. After that, it all unraveled faster than a Shein bodysuit on a hot day. Troy moved out, he took the kids, the dog, and whatever scraps of his sanity were still salvageable. She was left alone in a house full of Klarna trophies, TVs she couldn't afford to plug in, Bluetooth speakers she had no one to party with, and a custom fridge magnet that said, Slay today. Marissa was now slaying unpaid debt, unpaid bills, and the haunting realization that her influencer lifestyle was funded by delusion and 4-part payment plans. The collection calls became constant. Her email was a battlefield of urgent payment requests and passive-aggressive threats from companies she used to brag about shopping from. And that's when the crime happened. See, Marissa still had her job, junior bookkeeper at a local real estate firm. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave her access to what her Klarna fried brain referred to as emergency backup funds. Most of us call that theft. It started with $200.00 from petty cash to bridge the gap on a missed installment. Then another $400.00 because Klarna stacked 2 payments in 1 week. Then $300.00 because Beyonce rescheduled and her ticket insurance didn't cover financial self-sabotage. Before long, she'd taken nearly $900.00 in total. And trust me, if you're going to go to jail, at least steal enough to make it worth it. But no, my sister risked her life and freedom to cover a payment on a cotton candy machine and some Bluetooth subwoofers. She wasn't even embezzling for something cool. She was financially waterboarding herself for vibes. I think the audit hit like a brick through a glass ceiling. Her supervisor flagged the missing funds during a routine petty cash check. At first, Marissa tried to play dumb. Oh, well, must be a miscalculation. But Marissa couldn't calculate her way out of a wet paper receipt. The numbers didn't lie, and neither did the fact that her Klarna account was linked to the same email she used at work. They pulled transaction logs, reviewed timestamps, and matched them to her lunch breaks. It was like watching a crime documentary, except the villain had glitter nails and monthly payments on a cotton candy maker. HR brought her in, and she cried so hard the fake lashes slid halfway down her cheeks, like defeated caterpillars. She tried to spin it as a mental health spiral, financial anxiety, postnatal shopping disorder. They weren't buying it. The police, however, were very interested. She got arrested on a Thursday. I'll never forget the call. Sis, I think I'm going to jail. I paused. For how long? They said it could be a few years, she sniffled, but it's not like I murdered someone. No, she didn't murder anyone, just her credit score, her marriage, and every shred of adult dignity she once had. The trial was quick. Her lawyer attempted the she was under financial duress angle, but the prosecution absolutely demolished her with a list of Klarna purchases. So absurd, the courtroom chuckled out loud. The judge literally read out 3 ring lights, a Bluetooth bidet, LED eyelashes, and a diamond-studded steering wheel cover. It sounded less like a crime and more like she was possessed by a Gen Z raccoon. She got 3 years. No suspended sentence, no slap on the wrist, just straight to minimum security prison with a restitution payment plan that'll follow her until menopause. Klarna, naturally, didn't care. They sold her debt to collectors so fast it made her Chase account whimper. Troy got the kids. Muffin was adopted by a family with actual disposable income. Her home, foreclosed. Her belongings, auctioned. The only thing she kept was her name, and even that became a punchline. At Thanksgiving, my uncle asked if she'd Klarna'd her handcuffs. She's now one of those cautionary tales they tell in financial planning workshops, right between the PowerPoint slides on compound interest and why you shouldn't open 12 credit cards just to get the sign-up bonuses. Prison didn't suit Marissa, but honestly, neither did reality. The woman who once spent $300, 0 cents on faux fur seat covers now sleeps on a plastic mattress and gets into screaming matches over honey buns. Her bunkmate, Tasha, who's in for mail fraud and has the emotional range of a tire iron, nicknamed her Klarna Kardashian by week 2. The name stuck. So did the mockery. Marissa, who used to spend an hour contouring her nose before school drop-off, now lines up for powdered eggs and prays her commissary funds aren't frozen again. And don't even get her started on the prison-issued shoes. They're ugly, she whined in a letter. Sis, you're not here for the fashion. You're here because you took money meant for open house snacks and used it to Klarna a wine fridge you never stocked. The letters she writes now are depressing with a hint of Etsy influencer. I'm doing a lot of inner work, she said in one, as if chakra alignment can reverse a felony. She tries to sound enlightened, but between the prison stationery and the fact that her handwriting looks like it's fighting for survival, it's hard to take her seriously. She still won't fully admit what she did was criminal. She calls it a lapse in judgment, fueled by a flawed credit ecosystem. Nah, sis, Klarna didn't tell you to buy glow-in-the-dark makeup brushes and dog tuxedos. That was all you. What kills me is she's still trying to act like the victim. Honey, you weren't scammed. You were stupid. There's a difference, and the state agrees. Meanwhile, Troy's thriving. Man lost a wife, a house, and a dog, and somehow came out of it looking 10 years younger and emotionally moisturized. He's dating someone new, she's chill, doesn't impulse buy seasonal throw pillows, and her kids actually like her. The real kicker? She's got a budgeting app, and she uses it. Their vacations don't involve Klarna, they involve savings. Actual savings. Meanwhile, Marissa's stuck writing poetry on recycled toilet paper and asking me to send her commissary for face lotion that isn't made of recycled fryer grease. Sometimes I think this is karmic balance. She stole from her job to cover Klarna debt, and now she's earning 12 cents an hour folding laundry for a system that's better at budgeting than she ever was. The prison therapist says Marissa has made progress. That's rich, coming from someone who thinks coloring mandalas counts as emotional regulation. According to Marissa's last letter, she's focusing on healing, which I assume means she finally stopped Klarneying her self-worth and started confronting the void she tried to fill with scented candles and rim upgrades. She's been journaling too, apparently planning to write a memoir when she gets out. Working title, Debts and Detox, My Journey from Luxury to Lockup. I told her to add a subtitle, How Bluetooth Bidets Can't Wash Away Your Crimes. She didn't laugh. But then again, neither did her cell block when they found out she was in for stealing under $1,000. Someone literally got stabbed over ramen, and she's in there because she couldn't stop financing flavored sparkling water. And you know what really bakes my biscuit? She still blames everyone but herself. Klarna, predatory. Troy, emotionally unavailable. Her job, toxic. Me, unsupportive. She called me judgmental for not visiting more often, as if I'm supposed to use my PTO so I can listen to her complain about commissary prices and pretend she's the Elizabeth Holmes of split payments. No, Marissa, I didn't force you to Klarna car speakers and concert tickets while your electric bill cried in the corner. You did that, all by yourself. And while we're at it, maybe you'd still have a home if you'd spend half as much time budgeting as you did customizing LED light strips for your Honda. Still, I'll give her this. Marissa's downfall was spectacular. If you're going to implode your life, at least make it memorable. She didn't just fumble the bag. She Klarna'd it, lost it, tried to return it after the policy expired, and then blamed the store for not warning her about consequences. Most people just ruin Thanksgiving. My sister ruined her entire credit history, abandoned her family's financial stability, and created a 3-year prison arc, all for the aesthetic of being that girl on Instagram. There's a lesson here somewhere. Maybe it's about financial literacy. Maybe it's about emotional emptiness. Maybe it's just don't trust any app that uses pastel fonts and smiley emojis to encourage economic collapse. These days, Marissa's story lives on as a cautionary tale whispered across PTA meetings and Reddit finance threads. Every time someone asks, "What's the worst that could happen with buy now, pay later?" I send them a screenshot of her mugshot. Hair fried, mascara smudged, holding a nameplate like she's auditioning for America's Next Top Convict. She Klarna'd herself into a concrete box, and the receipts are immortal. Somewhere between the Bluetooth karaoke machine, the 6-person hot tub she never unboxed, and the $18.00 mascara subscriptions, she lost everything real in her life. Her kids, her home, her freedom, and all for stuff that ended up either repossessed, returned, or rotting in a storage unit with a padlock and an overdue balance. When she finally gets out, I honestly don't know what she'll do. Her credit score is practically a horror story. She's been banned from her former employer's industry, and she's the proud owner of enough restitution debt to sponsor someone else's Klarna addiction. I guess she could become a motivational speaker. Hi, I'm Marissa, and I'm here to tell you how split payments split my life in half. But if I know her, she'll probably try to launch an Etsy store from her halfway house, selling hand-painted mason jars that say things like, "Live, laugh, Klarna." I wish her the best. I do. But if she ever tries to finance a reunion brunch with me, I'm out. And that, my financially flustered friends, is how my sister went from carpool queen to Klarna's biggest cautionary tale. If you learned something or just need validation that your Amazon card addiction isn't that bad, go ahead and like the video, subscribe for more scandalous stories, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next family meltdown. This is Drama with Ted and Tina, where bad decisions come with interest rates and karma comes with late fees. Catch you next time.